And while we definitely need to come together as a species, I can assure you that the difference between that modality and, say, a planet of 220 nations won't make that much difference. Advanced species that have gone interstellar are an overwhelmingly formidable foe, and we cannot prevail against them. I've heard a few people try to make the case, but it doesn't even get close.
No, we'd be rubbing two sticks together to make fire before no time.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways they can destroy us, it's not even funny. So, now, again, working within this incomplete picture that I was talking about, trying to make assessments based upon a very incomplete and deliberately muddied history and understanding, still, given that we are trying to engage the issue, we still have to make some statements. I will say this, that logically, the most significant defense that we have as a fledgling, almost spacefaring, nearly spacefaring species is the good intentions of collections or collectives of non-terrestrial civilizations, and it's not that complicated. The number one thing, I mean, principally in our global reality, within the 200 and some countries that exist now, the principal thing that prevents any one of those countries from going completely berserk and starting to nuke other countries and take them over or commit wholesale genocide is the collective will of most of the rest of the nations. In other words, you can't do that. We outnumber you, 100 nations to 1. Now, obviously, it's not quite that simple, but it's pretty much along those lines. And so, if we're here, the fact that we're here at all, probably, in my view, giving my best understanding guess, is that there is a collection of civilizations out there that are in the collection and collectively powerful enough to ensure that no individual galactic or rather extraterrestrial civilization can come in here and lay waste to this planet.
Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that too. If we're reverse engineering ET technology, then that means that ETs have visited us, have exchanged with us in some ways. They are fascinated with us. They're even involved with us. And I believe that too, that we have allies out there. But I would think that our allies would be in shorter number if we continue down this warlike path. If a case was to be made...
I appreciate the sentiment, but I think the ETs probably have a much broader view. They have been through this before, Brooke. And again, I'm giving you my, best assessment. I'm sure that they're not unfamiliar with this process where a sentient species gets a hold of the atom and gets a hold of fusion and fission and quantum mechanics. I mean, this has all happened before. This is pretty much, it's the same laws of physics throughout the galaxy, at least as far as I know. And so this is not new to them. And they probably even kind of know the outcome, not because they can look into the future, but because they know how this tends to go. And that there's some kind of a process underway, which is a birthing process, a coming-of-age process. And exactly how involved they are, I don't know. How formal their relationships are with government, I don't know. I know that we have crash vehicles. I'm pretty sure about that. So we have technology that way. Whether we've been given any, I don't know. But the situation we're in now is their presence is quite manifest. They haven't gone away. The awareness is growing exponentially. The efforts by our own governments to withhold this is falling apart. And so it's clearly coming to a head. And my job as an activist is not to get too involved with the thousands of backstories that are out there that are only partially known and try to resolve them somehow. It's not doable. My job is to help ensure that disclosure happens.
Well, I feel like you do, that disclosure is firmly on that path toward evolution as a global society.
Of course. It's like We had to know that we weren't, that we weren't the center of the universe. We had to know that the Earth went around the sun. We had to know the Earth was round. Not knowing those things would have been a significant impediment to our advancing as a complex species. This is not rocket science. And we're going to have to know that we're not alone. And believe all of those things pale in comparison to our becoming self-aware of the fact that we are not alone in the universe. This is the preeminent moment in our time as a species. It is the preeminent moment. I speak as a secular person with all respect to the religious moments that have taken place. This is the big one, and what happens next is going to be the great story, and we are going to play a role in it. I mean, this is what's so cool. This is not, this is all very personal. Everybody on the planet is going to be participating in the post-disclosure world. They're all going to be affected by the post-disclosure world. And because of the Internet, a good deal of them are going to have a say about the post-disclosure world. We are literally going to reshape this planet, how we think, where we go, what we do, in profound ways, operating in the most collective fashion that our species has ever operated. With all due respect to the Bilderbergers and the Illuminati and the Rothschilds and the Bohemian Grove and the Skull and Bones boys and everything else, we are moving toward collective power in the world. And that is being demonstrated on a daily basis, though we're hardly, all the way there yet. So this is a big deal. And one of the biggest problems I have is conveying that. It's like standing next to a mountain right up against the sheer cliff with somebody and trying to explain to them how big the mountain is. It's very hard to do.
Yeah, I kind of saw that a little bit. And then they give you, 2 minutes or 3 minutes on Fox News. At least Shepard Smith kind of got out of your way and let you make your statement, which I thought was very eloquent and very well done. You look great on Fox News. It's mainstream. The message of disclosure, the petition, the public pressure, the public awareness, and really it's an intelligent awareness. It's not a paranoia about you're going to have to open all the warehouses and open all the files, and we want to see everything, including the dirty laundry and all the dead alien bones. It's a very intelligent thirst for knowledge that we have, that we are a self-aware race and we're not alone in the universe, and we're ready to admit that. We're mature now. Let's admit it.
Right. And restructure our policies and our institutions to reflect this new reality. So what I'm going to be doing, Brooks, is the X conference is over, but it did lose a great deal of money, so I'm going to have to go find a serious funder. I'm still looking for that one major funder, 100,000 maybe, that would really be a game changer and allow PRG certainly to do so much more than it already is doing. I'll be going to Australia on the 22nd. I'll be down there for about 35 days, 12 cities. A lot of interest in the subject in Australia, of course. And Australia is a major intelligence ally of the United States. I think most people know that. And I think are very much involved in the ET issue in a significant way.
What's the website? How can our...
And head to the UK on August the 6th. I'll be speaking at Leeds Exopolitics Conference. All this stuff is up on my website. You can find it all at ParadigmResearchGroup.org. And possibly doing about a 2-3 week speaking tour of the UK, Ireland, maybe over on the continent. Then I'll come back and continue to look for funding and work on the development of the next conference I would like to do, which is called Contact 2010, which would be devoted exclusively to the contact issue, in an effort to bring this particular matter, which is a pretty significant fact we haven't even discussed, into the forefront of the advocacy movement. The fact that unknown numbers, unknown thousands of human beings have been in direct contact with extraterrestrials, going back to their childhood, going back to their parents and their grandparents, and possibly going back hundreds of thousands of years. This has now been established, and it's no longer possible, I think, morally and strategically to step away from it. It's time to deal with it, and I expect to see more contactees coming out of the closet. I expect to see them becoming political. So again, truth embargo's days are numbered. I'm doing all I can. We've got, let's see, the Exopolitics World Network is still looking for new countries. And the Facts on Washington is still ongoing, and we invite people to go to factsonwashington.org, FFAX on Washington.org, and send letters off to the White House Press Corps demanding that they start asking the administration the obvious questions and not settle for anything but a serious answer.